What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Guys, been seeing this video around and I thought it was pretty interesting, pretty recent. It's 2021, but it's still close. Socialized America told me about Europe. This is gonna be very interesting. Consider the fact what I've learned since I was younger, grown up to know, and what I'm learning now. So my guy right here, living in the UK currently. So we finna see some things that I could probably agree with. Maybe, I feel like it's gonna be his experience, so he's gonna tell it. But hey, it might be relatable. It might be relatable. So we finna jump into this. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Send down those recommendations. Let's jump into it.
Hey everybody, welcome back. International Carl doing another video for you.
Carl.
If this is your first time to my channel, please right now stop and hit the like button. Consider subscribing, and as always, hit me in the comment section, because those that have subscribed to my channel know that I'm always active in the comment section. Now, this video, we're going to talk about a couple lies that the United States pushes into us as Americans growing up. And let's talk about it right now. Let's get to it right now. Lie number one. This one is a funny one to me, because in the United States, it's always, I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care if you're Republican, I don't care if you're independent, I don't care where you're at on the political spectrum. You're always going to have a politician telling you that
they hate our freedoms, our freedom of religion, our freedom of speech, our freedom to vote and assemble and disagree with each other.
That's right. They hate us for our freedoms. Can you believe that?
That's crazy, because just watching different videos and stuff, it seemed like, even just getting some comments, everybody pretty much saying how free they are. Everybody pretty much saying how free they are. That's the crazy thing to me, because in a bunch of videos, people I've seen, even on the TikTok video, they were like, everywhere else is free too. I don't know where we got land of the free from. Like
Europe. In Europe, they act like if you come to Europe, there's just no freedoms. What freedoms do I not have here in Europe? As these are Western democracies with Western values and culture that has been exported to the United States. And it's become its own thing. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but freedoms exist here. I'm still scratching my head. What freedom do you have in America that I don't have here? Let's talk about freedom of speech, for example. In America, you have freedom of speech. In the UK, for example, you don't have freedom of speech. What you do have is freedom of expression. Slight different tweak, but let's give you an example. In America, you can be as racist as you want to somebody. You can walk up to me, walk up to any black person and say the N-word all day long if you want.
Facts.
In the UK, you really couldn't do that, because at some point you will cross a fine line of inciting racial hatred. So if you define your freedoms based on your ability to call somebody an N-word or call some Asian American some type of offensive word, by all means, you can have that freedom. I don't need that freedom.
Yeah.
But other people in America talk about it like freedom for guns. Ooh, guns. They want to take your guns.
And what do we need other than hunting? If you go on hunting, I can see why you need. Well, what you need a gun for? Man, most people don't even stay in neighborhoods where they're just houses just getting broken into type thing, or their cars getting. Most people just want a gun just in case, just to have a reason to shoot somebody. Why? And then he was talking about just the freedom. I feel like, especially nowadays, since 2020, 2021, probably earlier than that, it has been a lot of more people that has been racist. It's coming out more, and they're not afraid to say it type thing. Rather than, like you said, and somebody in the comments even told me, I think it was either on my Netherlands or Sweden video, they were like, we don't even look at color. We just, if we staring at somebody, it's probably not because of the color of their skin. It's probably due to the fact of there's something else that's standing out, because we don't see everybody. You don't see just if you see a black person, you're not just going to see them as a black person, type thing, which is, I feel like it's a good thing coming from Europe and stuff like that, because down here, it's a crazy issue. It's a crazy issue. He's speaking facts.
Well, let's see. Here in the UK, can you have guns? Yes. Can you have a rifle? Yes. Can you have a handgun? Yes. What does the Second Amendment say in the United States? It's highly regulated. So what is it here in the UK? Guess what? It's highly regulated. There's lots of regulations around what type of gun, where you have to store that gun, where you have to keep the ammunition, what do you have to do for the maintenance of that gun? Highly regulated. So you still have the freedom to have a gun. So if you define your freedoms as being able to have as many guns as you want in America, okay, fine, no argument. But I think that's a lie that they sell, that nobody here has any guns. Not true.
I feel like it's just a thing, probably in the UK. You know, if you're from the UK, you can let me know how it works. But I feel like they don't think it's usually just necessary to just have it out walking around different places. Like, I shouldn't have a gun on my hip going to eat at Chick-fil-A or going to my kid's school type. Like, come on now. Like, I should want to feel safe. Like, if I have to keep a gun, I obviously don't feel safe. Unless it's just like put up, like you said, put up in the house or something. That's different. But if I have to carry it everywhere I go because I just don't feel safe, that's a problem.
2, social housing is a bad thing. It's something that you're supposed to segregate from the rest of the population. So, for example, in America, especially in LA where I'm from, or Southern California where I'm from, social housing, Section 8. Well, that's usually in a separate side of the city, not being seen. I don't even know where it's at, because where I grew up was nothing but beautiful homes, single family homes, no social housing. Where here in the UK, just in Europe in general, it's all sprinkled around you. For example, here in the UK, I live in a beautiful big house, beautiful executive style estate. I have a nice car, but guess what? On this estate and on several new estates, they all have social housing, and they do things that are different in the United States, or that they do here in the UK, that they wouldn't do or they don't do in the United States. You could be on social housing, but guess what? You can partially own that house.
Wow.
So that way you can be on the track. So you can buy 10% of the home, 20% of the home, 50% of the home, and try to get all the way up to 100% of the home like me or you do. So that's a different strategy that they do. So social housing is good for everybody, because that way the kids get to interact with all people from all social and religious, economic backgrounds.
That's actually a good thing. I didn't know the UK did that. That's different, because usually when you like what we call housing, like, you know, the government basically pay your bills type thing if you can't afford it. And he does have a point. It's on a certain part of town, and that's kind of like how my town is. It's like on a certain part, but now people buying up like the old lots and stuff and just putting new houses everywhere. Like where I grew up at, they trying to eliminate all of those bad houses and put new houses out there, which is a good thing, I think.
All people from all social and religious, economic backgrounds. And you as an adult get to work and meet and mingle with people from all different backgrounds. I think the neighborhoods are better for it. They're safer for it. Less crime, because guess what? If you're in an executive style estate, well, guess what? You want to keep your home value high. You want to keep it nice and looking new. And that's going to put pressure on the social housing to also keep their house nice. Keep the estate looking nice and new and fresh. So I think that's a myth, and I think that's something that should be revisited in the United States. Number 3. In America, they teach you this, that somehow being a hard worker means coming in early, staying late, never taking a vacation, and definitely don't call in sick. That is like the biggest mistake you could ever make, faux pas you could make. I'll give you an example.
Sure.
When I was working for a large airframe manufacturer in the United States, I remember a friend of mine, we wanted to take 2 weeks off and go do something. Our managers looked at us like we were crazy because we wanted to have the audacity to take 2 weeks off. And mind you, we didn't take any days off prior to that. We just wanted to take 2 weeks off in a year so we could go do something. They were like, no, rejected, slim that down to a week. And I'm thinking, isn't that my time off to relax?
They give it to you, but they don't want you to use. They want you to use it when they ready for you to use it type thing. That's how I personally feel how it works. Like, you want to take a week or 2 weeks, but what about this? But what if they don't want you to take that? That's crazy. That's crazy because I know some people, he probably ain't used his time for the past 2 years. But it starts over. That's the sucky thing. All that time, if you don't use it, it goes back to zero and you have to build up again. It sucks. It really does.
Slim that down to a week. And I'm thinking, isn't that my time off to relax, to recharge my battery so I can come back to work?
Exactly.
No. Now, I think minds and hearts have changed a little bit in the United States back from when I started working, back in the early 2000s, or mid-2000s, I should say. But that was a faux pas. Well, here in the United Kingdom and here in Europe, for example, it's encouraged to take time off. You get 20, 25 plus days off in mostly all European countries. I think by law in the European Union, you have to have 20 days off. So it's encouraged to take time off because either you use it or you lose it. And for example, I think Sweden, if I can find the article, it's on the screen now. But if not, Sweden is actually doing a trial where they're reducing the work hours to 6 hours to see if it increases productivity, because employers are seeing that the employees are more rested and more focused when they come back to work. No.
And I feel like, I just want to add, I feel like that 6 hours, if you work like 8 hour shift, 10 hours, and don't get me wrong, this probably for certain jobs. I don't think every job would go like 6 hours, but they could. But don't you feel like you can get so much done within like the first 4 to 6 hours of really just doing 100%? Because sometimes, I know for me, sometimes I'll be at work, I'll be finished in like 3-4 hours and wasting another 4 hours just sitting there in a place. Like, now you're wasting time where you could probably be doing some chores or something at home, or, going to relax or doing some other thing that you got going.
The employees are more rested and more focused when they come back to work. Number 4, America sells you this, that capitalism and consumerism go hand in glove. It's like this cycle. You have to work to buy, to work again to pay for what you buy, to buy some more stuff, to then work.
Are you talking about college right here? You talking about college.
To work again to pay for what you buy, to buy some more stuff, to then work again and go down this continuous loop of working to live. And in Europe,
yep, he might as well throw college up in there. If he throw college in there, that's pretty. You going to pay for schooling, or to get a job, to pay the schools back, which you probably won't be able to pay them back fully for another 20 to 30 years? Come on now,
this continuous loop of working to live. And in Europe, one of the things that I think is a beauty and a benefit of working and living in Europe is that there's more of a work-life balance. As I just talked about in point number 3, is that you have time off to actually do stuff. And you don't just have this endless working to consume. Don't get me wrong. We go on vacation, so we're consuming what I would call, we are consuming experiences, but we don't live to work. We work to live. And that is a benefit of living in Europe. And I think that is great. And I think the U.S. sells a lie to its people by telling them that you have to work hard to then buy stuff and never do anything. Number 5, which kind of ties into the first one I said, but it really is on the Republican right side in America. They always preach, especially during the Obamacare era, 2012, was all about these death panels. They literally produced a video where they were throwing grandma off a cliff because of social medicine.
What? That's funny. I don't think I ever seen that video. That's crazy.
Medicine.
Not granny.
Make no mistake about it. President Obama and the Democrats who supported Obamacare began throwing seniors off the cliff back.
The evils of
That's
social
crazy.
medicine, that you were going to have death panels if you got sick. I mean, how ridiculous of a lie that is. I mean, it's a bold-faced lie.
I always said they just want. I said at this point they trying to kill us. They want us
if
to
you
die.
got sick. I mean, how ridiculous of a lie that is. I mean, it's a bold-faced lie. I've lived here 11, 12 years. I have yet to ever see a death panel. I have known some older people. I know some younger people. I know myself. You can walk into any hospital in any country in Europe and there's not a single death penalty. What do you expect them to say? Oh, sorry, you had a heart attack last year, Mr. Carl, but since you had one last year, we're not going to treat you for this heart attack because the panel has refused your care.
That's crazy.
As a side note, you kind of already have that in America. You just have it through the insurance companies because guess what they do? Decide not to cover you.
Yeah.
They say it's a pre-existing condition. I don't think you can do that anymore, but they'll say that or they'll.
And it just depends because not every hospital, like some insurance, like it don't even cover the whole thing. Like you get you still finna come out of pocket.
Find a way to deny coverage. They'll make it.
Because that's another thing. Depending on the health issue, I don't think like certain insurance covers like different things. They cover the different like health issues differently. So say for instance, like he mentioned, like a heart attack, or if you got major aneurysm, maybe asthma, your insurance is gonna cover those things differently. So you might be paying more, you might be paying less, depending on what it is.
It's so high to cost to do it that you have to do it out of pocket. And guess what? Now you're bankrupt. So that loops right back to number one. How are you free if you have to live with the pressure of going bankrupt and not being able to pay your bills? Because guess what? You have the audacity to break your hip, get sick. I don't know. You pick it. So those are the 5 things that I think that the United States lies or misleads its people on purpose to further whatever big business or whatever political agenda that they have to the people. I'm going to leave you with a bonus one, which is kind of strange if you look at it. Because number 6 is this. In America, every day, all students around the nation get up every morning and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Facts.
Pledge yourself and align yourself to the United States flag and to the republic for which it stands. Now, that's not something that's common in Europe.
Definitely. And after watching these videos, I've realized that it's not common. And when I got older, I stopped saying the pledge because I started figuring out too. I'm like, why we have to say this every day? Like they used to have make us stand, make us like some of us haven't even had breakfast yet. And the pledge, stand up, everybody stand up, put your hand over your heart type thing, And some kids didn't even know where their heart was. It's supposed to be right hand over the heart. Some kids were doing the left hand because they didn't even teach us where to put the heart, where our heart is type thing. So some kids were missing out where the heart was, but that's what we did every morning. Every morning. It's crazy, like, and we even do we have a Texas pledge, y'all. So we saying 2 of them. The American and the Texas flag. We pledging to them. It's crazy that I don't see we here like flags are hung up in every class. I think it's mandatory, especially in schools, to have flags hung up. Like I think every classroom has to have a flag hung up. In
many Western countries, I don't know of any other Western country that makes its kids get up every morning. I do know of one back in 1938, 1942-ish time. Those kids used to get up and actually pledge allegiance to their flag and to their Führer. But I don't know if that's something we should necessarily be doing. Don't get me wrong, I love my country. I'm very patriotic about it. I love the 4th of July for all my country is never perfect, but I think it can get better.
Yeah, but we shouldn't have to do that.
That's mine. Hit me in the comments. Tell me what you think. And like always, click here to subscribe to the channel. All
right, International Carl. He was, one thing I can say, he's speaking facts. He is speaking facts. I definitely agree with him. Like, and not even being a person that lives abroad, but being a person that look at videos and get different information about living abroad and stuff like he is speaking facts here. Like, it's just so different. It is so different. And the grinny thing took me out because I didn't know. They pretty much like that healthcare. It is an issue. It is an issue. I don't care what nobody says. Like, if you really care about your people, if you really want, like, tell us that we're free, there's some things that need to be free for our personal sake, especially of being healthy and living better lives. Like, people and companies, I feel like they go downhill because, one, workers are not going to be productive being somewhere they hate and they can't take time out. And now they balancing, like, the work, like you said, the work-life balance is off. Because now I'm spending my time 10, 12 hours at a job, then I still got to come be a father. Women still got to come home and be a mother or a husband or a wife. That take time too. But most time you work, you go home, you don't feel like doing nothing but sleep and just repeating it. You can have a whole family at home. How you going to spend that time? You tired. The work-life balance is off. People are unhappy. Then when you working too much, that's a health issue. Those are going to cause health issues. Like, your feet could be hurting. Like, you start building up certain things, certain illnesses and stuff just from working too much. They don't get that. I feel like they don't get that. They work us to death just to replace us. Cause if somebody were to die today, guess what? They finna hire somebody tomorrow to take their place. And that's the process. That's how it works. That's what they go do. But he definitely speaking facts. That's all I have for this video. Y'all let me know what you think. But that was a good 6 lies. That was true, you know. He's speaking facts. But y'all hit that subscribe button and y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.